Today we're diving into the top 5 things you can do to make your Linux system more secure. We all know Linux has this whole reputation for being, secure by design. And while that's not entirely wrong, it doesn't mean you can just install it and call it a day. You gotta put in a little work to really lock things down, and that's what we're here to do today. We're gonna walk through 5 essential security tips that every Linux user, from newbies to seasoned pros, should know like the back of their hand. Let's get started. Alright, first up we're talking updates. I know, it's like telling you to eat your vegetables, but trust me on this one. Keeping your system updated is like the single most important thing you can do for security. Every time a new vulnerability is discovered, the good folks who develop your distro, whether it's Ubuntu, Fedora, Arch, whatever, they work their butts off to release patches and updates to plug those holes. Ignoring those updates is like leaving your front door wide open with a sign that says, "Welcome hackers, don't be that person." Luckily, most distros these days have really easy-to-use update mechanisms. Just open up your terminal, type in a simple command like sudo apt update and then sudo apt upgrade for Debian-based systems, or sudo pacman-su for Arch and its derivatives, and boom, you're good to go. Seriously, it's that easy. And hey, if you're really feeling fancy, you can even set up automatic updates so you don't even have to think about it. Just remember, updates are your friends, not your enemies. Next up, let's talk firewalls. Firewalls are an essential part of any security setup, acting as the first line of defense against potential threats. They monitor incoming and outgoing network traffic, and decide whether to allow or block specific traffic based on a defined set of security rules. Think of a firewall like your system's personal bodyguard, standing guard at the door and deciding who gets in and who gets bounced. Just like a vigilant security guard, a well-configured firewall can prevent unauthorized access and protect your system from malicious attacks. By default, most Linux distros come with a firewall enabled, but it's usually pretty basic. This default setup might not be enough to protect you from more sophisticated threats. Therefore, it's crucial to understand how to configure your firewall to meet your specific security needs. To really beef up your security, you'll want to configure it properly. This involves setting up rules that define what kind of traffic is allowed and what should be blocked. Proper configuration can help you prevent unauthorized access, protect sensitive data, and ensure that your system remains secure. Now, I know the thought of messing around with firewall rules can seem intimidating, but it's really not that bad. With a bit of guidance and the right tools, anyone can learn to configure a firewall effectively. It's all about understanding the basics and gradually building up your knowledge. There are tons of great graphical tools out there that make it super simple, like GuFW, which is basically a firewall for dummies, in the best way possible. GuFW provides a user-friendly interface that allows you to manage your firewall without needing to dive into complex command line instructions. With GuFW, you can easily set up rules to block incoming connections from suspicious IP addresses, limit outgoing traffic from specific applications, and a whole lot more. This flexibility allows you to tailor your firewall settings to your specific needs, providing a robust layer of security. And if you're feeling adventurous and want to get your hands dirty with the command line, good old iptables is your friend. Iptables is a powerful tool that offers granular control over your firewall settings, allowing you to create highly customized rules. It's a bit more advanced, but it gives you ultimate control over your firewall. With iptables, you can define complex rules that can handle a wide range of scenarios, from simple port blocking to intricate traffic filtering. No matter which method you choose, just make sure you have a firewall up and running. A properly configured firewall is a critical component of your overall security strategy, helping to protect your system from a variety of threats. It's like wearing a helmet when you ride a bike. You might not always need it, but when you do, you'll be glad you have it. So take the time to set up your firewall correctly and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with knowing your system is protected. Okay, let's talk passwords. They're the gatekeepers to our digital lives, and yet they're often the most neglected aspect of our online security. I know, everyone hates passwords. They can be frustrating, especially when you have to remember dozens of them. They're annoying to remember, a pain to type, and let's be honest, most of us are guilty of using the same weak password for multiple accounts. This is a huge risk. But here's the thing, folks. In the world of cybersecurity, your password is your kingdom. It's the first line of defense against unauthorized access. A weak password is like leaving your front door unlocked with a welcome mat that says, "Come on in, hackers!" It's an open invitation for trouble. So how do you create a strong password? It's simpler than you might think, but it does require a bit of effort. Well, first off, ditch the password 123 nonsense. It's one of the first things hackers will try. A strong password should be at least 12 characters long, ideally even longer if possible, with a mix of uppercase and lowercase letters to add complexity, numbers and symbols. This makes it exponentially harder for anyone to crack. And don't even think about using your pet's name or your birthday. Hackers have heard it all before. They know these tricks, and will exploit them. Now, I know what you're thinking. Linus, there's no way I can remember all these crazy passwords. It sounds like a nightmare, right? And you know what? You're right. It's nearly impossible to remember dozens of complex passwords. That's where password managers come in. They are a game changer in the world of cybersecurity. A password manager is like a secure vault for all your passwords. It keeps them safe and accessible only to you. It generates and stores strong, unique passwords for all your accounts, ensuring that each one is different and secure. So you only have to remember one master password. This master password should be strong and unique as well. There are tons of great password managers out there, each with its own set of features and benefits, like Bitwarden, LastPass, and 1Password, just to name a few. Each of these has been vetted for security and ease of use, just to name a few. They can make your digital life so much easier and more secure. Do yourself a favor and start using one today. The setup is straightforward and the benefits are immense. Your future self will thank you. Trust me, it's a small step that makes a big difference in your online security. Alright, next up, let's talk about encryption. In a nutshell, encryption is like putting your data in a super secure lockbox that only you have the key to open. This is especially important if you're dealing with sensitive information, like financial records, personal documents, or, those embarrassing photos you don't want anyone else to see. Luckily, encrypting your data on Linux is easier than you might think. Most distros offer built-in encryption options during the installation process. For example, Ubuntu has a handy Encrypt My Home folder checkbox that you can tick. And if you didn't encrypt your system during installation, don't worry. You can still do it afterwards using tools like LUKS, which stands for Linux Unified Key Setup. It sounds complicated, but trust me, it's not as scary as it sounds. There are tons of great tutorials online that walk you through the process step by step. And hey, if you're really serious about security, you can even encrypt your entire hard drive. That way, even if someone steals your computer, they won't be able to access your data without the encryption key. It's like having your own personal Fort Knox for your digital life. Last but not least, let's talk about backups. Now, I know what you're thinking. Backups aren't exactly the most thrilling topic, but trust me, they are absolutely essential for anyone who values their data. I know, backups aren't exactly the most exciting topic, but trust me on this one, they are absolutely essential. Imagine spending hours, days, or even months working on a project only to lose it all in an instant. It's a nightmare scenario, but one that can be easily avoided with regular backups. Think of backups like an insurance policy for your data. Just as you wouldn't drive a car without insurance, you shouldn't use a computer without a backup plan. It's your safety net, your peace of mind. Hard drives fail, laptops get stolen, and sometimes we accidentally delete important files. These are all common occurrences that can happen to anyone at any time. It happens to the best of us. Even the most tech-savvy individuals aren't immune to data loss. That's why having a reliable backup system in place is so crucial. But with regular backups, you can recover from these disasters without wanting to pull your hair out. Imagine the relief of knowing that all your important files are safe and can be restored with just a few clicks. So how often should you back up your data? Well, that depends on how much data you can afford to lose and how frequently you update your files. Well, that depends on how much data you can afford to lose. If you're working on critical projects or constantly creating new files, you might want to back up your data daily or even hourly. If you're constantly creating new files, you might want to back up your data daily or even hourly. This ensures that you always have the most recent version of your work saved. But if you're not creating new files that often, a weekly or monthly backup might be sufficient. The key is to find a backup schedule that works for you and stick to it. And when it comes to choosing a backup solution, you've got options, my friend. There are various methods and tools available, each with its own set of advantages and disadvantages. You can go old school and use an external hard drive, which is a reliable and straightforward method. It's great for local backups and gives you physical control over your data. Or you can get fancy with cloud backup services like Backblaze or SpiderOak. These services offer the convenience of automatic backups and the added security of offsite storage. Personally, I like to use a combination of both: an external hard drive for local backups and a cloud backup service for offsite redundancy. This way, I have multiple layers of protection. That way, if my house burns down, I know my data is safe and sound in the cloud. It's a small investment for a lot of peace of mind. Remember folks, backups are like flossing. You know you should be doing it more often, but it's easy to put off. However, the benefits far outweigh the effort. And when you finally do, you wonder why you didn't start sooner. So, don't wait for a disaster to strike. Start backing up your data today and save yourself a lot of headaches in the future. There you have it folks, implement these 5 tips, and you'll be well on your way to a more secure Linux system. Remember, security is not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process that requires constant attention. Stay vigilant, keep learning, and don't be afraid to explore different security tools and techniques. The world of Linux is vast and constantly evolving, and there's always something new to discover and master. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more tech tips and tutorials. Stay safe out there.